today, RWS, we will take you on a time trip through the hunting evolution. Not only about the techniques, but also more about the materials used for hunting, the weapons and ammunition. Hunting was always a very important thing for the survival of families, of tribes, because it was a very important source of protein, of food. Since long time ago, food was not storable that much. There had to be a continuous takedown by hunting to feed the people and the families. So therefore, of course, there was a lot of pressure on the success of hunting. And this pressure led to the fact that hunting skills, but hunting means and hunting materials was always developed. There was a lot of pressure in shooting further, hitting better. And we're going to show you some steps in that evolution of hunting. The first step that you can see here is the classical longbow. Here. It was shot with an arrow, like this. And the results, you can see it here on the wall in this chart here. Accuracy was typically something like 30, 40 centimeters on 50 meters for a good shooter. The velocity of an arrow was about 60 meters per second, and it reached between 30 to 50 joule, depending on how strong the shooter was. This reduced the hunting distance to something like 20 to 30, 35 meters. Obviously, with modern compound bows, you can shoot a little further out. This is this part. The next step was then a crossbow, which you can see a very modern version of right here. This is on even with a scope. Obviously, in the old times, it was not used with a scope like that. The results, you can see it here. Accuracy got a lot tighter already. The velocity and the energy increased. And with this, you could shoot further out. You could shoot up to 80 meters, sometimes even a little bit longer. It goes back time-wise to the 1st century after the death of Christ. The next step then, also military-driven, because it was not only developed for hunting, but it was also developed, obviously, for military purposes, which always played a very important role, was a muzzle loader. An interesting thing, it was loaded from front with black powders. The musket caps was put on top here. And so obviously this took a long time for reloading. Once you fired a round, you had to clean it out and you had to charge it again and put the musket cap on. So it took a good while until you could refire this gun. From a ballistic point of view, you can see the results here. The accuracy got a lot better because the first time now it's a pyrotechnical hunting device. We see a 5-shot group of about 10, 12, 15 centimeters at 100 meters, and it was shot with a lead ball. The energy here, 1400 joule, and velocity about 600 meters per second, already quite fast. The maximum hunting distance in the older times was 100 meters. And at the very end of the evolution, we will show you our new hit bullet that we introduced in the last year. It's one of the peaks of ammunition developments that we have. It's a solid copper bullet, mass stable deformation for maximum penetration. You can shoot it up to 500 meters. We have confirmed in good killings for 700 meters. So it's a big improvement if you compare it to the 30 meters of the bow and arrow. So obviously, the skills in the old times had to be very, very good as well if you want to get that close to an animal. Now this highest step of evolution fired from a centerfire rifle, which we see here, a model from the company Mauser, had an energy now of almost 5,000 joule. The velocity was 950 meters per second. The accuracy, can barely see it on the screen. It's on 50 meters. If you compare it to the other hunting devices, it's almost nothing. It's 1 centimeter or a bit more than 1 centimeter. And the velocity is 950 meters per second. So here you can see the very top. We put all those means through a stress test on ballistic soap. We shot it with 3 layers of synthetic bone that you can see here. And when we look at the different blocks, we can see how those devices performed. Obviously, Arrow had pretty much of a hard job to break the bone at all. The muzzle loader broke the bones, but had a very thin wound channel. So if you didn't really hit any organ, then the animal was running very, very far. So you had to follow very long. And it also did not exit. So you would have no blood trail in reality in the old times. And now with the hit bullet, you can see it broke through all those 3 thick layers of bones. Had a very nice thick wound channels where you can see the fragments of the bone in. The bullet stayed tough together. It expanded and it exited very nicely. So it gives you a good blood trail. Takes the animal down very, very quickly. But in case you don't, you'll have a good blood trail. If you compare here the adjusted volume, the crushed volume in the animal, you can see that we have a substantial destruction force compared to the older forms of hunting, where you really had to have a perfect shot placement and then stay behind the animal to track it down. This was it from RWS with the hit bullet, the highest peak in our ammunition development. Thank you.